Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for coming on time and thanks for your patience as well. I'm Kate Palmer. I'm a member of the Planetary Health Network of Young Professionals. We are a network of young professionals passionate about planetary health, and we promote planetary health through education, advocacy, and creativity. We believe that raising awareness of young professionals about planetary health will help pave the way towards a sustainable future. So our team would like to thank all of you for participating in today's third Planetary Health webinar series, and this one's called Time to Save the Most Precious Lands on Earth. We're working in partnership with TiME. This is my Earth. So we hope it's educational and inspirational for you. So for today, we're going to start off with discussing the house rules. And then Pearl will introduce our speaker. And after all the talks, there'll be a 15-minute question and answer session. So quickly with the house rules, I think everybody has their camera and microphone turned off. This helps us to save on bandwidth, and also because we're recording the webinar and streaming it, just keep your microphone and camera off and you won't be recorded. If you do have questions and you don't want to be recorded, then you can write them in the chat box and not show your face at any time. Or if you want to ask your question more personally, you can press the little heart button and a moderator will ask you to present your question, and then you can turn on your camera and microphone if you prefer to ask a question in that way. Yeah, I think it's over to Pearl now.
Thank you, Katie. So I'm happy to introduce to you our speaker for today. Professor Uri Shanas received a PhD in zoology from Tel Aviv University, followed by a postdoc at Columbia University. He joined the Department of Biology and Environment of the University of Haifa at Oranim campus, Israel, and became an adjunct lecturer and researcher of the Arava Institute for Environmental Studies. In addition to the academic activities, he is actively involved in nature conservation in Israel. He co-established the Israel Union for Environmental Defense and served for 6 years in the board of directors for the Society for Protection of Nature and on the board of the Governmental National Park and Reserve Authority, chairing the Scientific Professionalism Committee. In addition, he served in various committees including MAB UNESCO, LTSER, and chairing the expert committee of the Israeli Green Movement Party. In 2016, he established the international organization This Is My Earth, or TiME, which saves and protects biodiversity hotspots.
Okay, thank you. So I guess it's my turn now, right?
Yes, over to you,
yeah.
Dr. Shanas.
So, okay, so let me, oh, there's my cat, just arrived on time. She always on time. Okay, let me begin. So, can you see it? Is it okay? I'm shared now. My screen is shared. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'm gonna tell you a little bit about our initiative TiME, but I would like to begin with the background, a little bit of the background. So unfortunately, we are in a terrible times now that we destroy nature, as you probably know and aware, and actually the rate of destruction now is almost unbelievable. We destroy the forest, the area of a size of the football field, almost every second. So some years it's every second, some years every 2 seconds, but not about the rate of destruction. And scientists are already warning us that we are beginning 6 mass extinction, which is our cause. I mean, this is because of humans, and human caused this extinction. And in fact, we have lost around 60% of all animal populations in 50 years. Some figures even say that more than that. And with this in mind, I had this trouble in my mind for quite a long time, and I've been teaching my students conservation biology and telling them the numbers and telling them the figures, and I saw that the students, you know, they understand, the students aware, they become aware, but I felt that we need more. I felt that it's not enough. It's not enough just to tell the students or just to try and let everyone become aware, or even if that caused them to go out on demonstration. I felt that we need to do something. I felt that I need to do something personally about it, and something that will really make a change, will really bring a halt, or at least somehow help this current destruction and this current species extinction. And so I had this in mind for a while teaching, but I started to think, okay, where do you start? Where do you begin even to face this problem? And I thought that the best place maybe to start is to start with those biodiversity hotspots. Now, biodiversity hotspots are places around the world where you have a significant reservoir of biodiversity and it is threatened. And we are talking both about animals and plants. And they amount to just 2.3% of the land, of the surface land around the world. So I thought, okay, this is a place, this is maybe where we should start working, and this should be a priority for us to go and save lands and save species around the world. And then I realized something which quite amazed me, that 50% of these hotspot areas are in private ownership. So if they are in private ownership, we can go actually and purchase them. Now, of course, it would be almost impossible at least for most of us. I don't know about you, but I don't earn that much at the university. So it would be impossible maybe to do it myself. But maybe if we can get everyone help, if we can get together and buy those lands together. And this is where I decided to form this international organization, which I called it TiME, or This Is My Earth. And the idea of This Is My Earth is to go and purchase lands around the world where there is unique ecosystem that are threatened by humans, and also to enable actually every person on the planet to be part of that and to reduce this habitat destruction by purchasing those biodiversity hotspots together. And I also wanted it to be a democratic and interactive and educating organization. So I wanted to form something that will be new and will be attractive to all people around the world. So how do we do that? So first, I decided that it would be affordable. It would be only $1 a year and you can become a member. But then also, I thought that it would be good, that it would be transparent and reliable. And that means that we promise that 100% of the donations, whether it's $1 or more, 100% of that will go to land protection. And we also thought that it would be great to have the participation of people. So we made it democratic. We allow people, we allow members, whether they donated $1 or more, we allow them to vote on our website where they want us to go and purchase the lands. So the whole idea here is that it would be affordable, it would be completely transparent, you know exactly where your money go, it will be reliable because we take no overhead, and it will be democratic and equal. That means equal, I mean by whether you donated $1 or you donated $10,000, we had such donations, you have one vote per year. So every person can feel that he's donating and is important for the sake of saving those biodiversity hotspots. Now, to help me build this organization, I formed a scientific advisory committee where I ask scientists from all over the world, at least one scientist from each continent, to serve on this committee. The idea of the committee is that the committee, the scientific committee, receives applications from organizations around the world that want us time to help them purchase the land. And the scientific committee actually screen and review those applications and decide which are the ones, if they are good enough and they are reliable, so they can be uploaded to the TiME website. They don't decide which lands will be purchased, but they just make an initial review that we can count on this organization or people that suggest the land. We also formed the board of directors, also again from people from all around the world and from all continents. And we mostly rely on volunteers because 100% of the money goes to land purchasing and we take overhead. We completely rely on volunteers from all over the world. So we have Jima here on the right from South Africa, which is our newsletter editor, and next to her is Liat, our chief editor, and next to her it's our treasurer, that she's in New York, and Liat is in Toronto, and so forth and so forth. So we have lots of volunteers helping us to carry out the work. And I formed this organization together with my colleague, Professor Alon Tal, and recently Ms. Tony Sawage from San Francisco also joined us as executive director, and together we run this organization. And the idea is what you see here on the right. So we upload every year sites around the world, from around the world, and we ask people, we show them on our website, and we ask people to donate as much as they can, and then to vote for the sites. And as soon as one of these sites reach its minimum that is needed to purchase, we close the voting and we go and purchase that site around the world. And of course, it's possible also that in future years we'll have more than one site in a year, and we actually trying to get to that point that we will have lots of sites purchased during the year. Now we also wanted to go into education, because we believe this is where we have to put lots of emphasis to help the next generation feel important and feel that they are part of this world of saving those precious land. So we develop education program like the one you see here. And the basic idea is that we bring it to class, or teachers adopt it and bring it to class. And what teachers usually like to do is to take their class divided to 3 groups, and each group is taking one of the project, and they learn it very deeply, and eventually they need to persuade the class to vote for their project. So it's kind of a game that they play, but this game help them really to learn basic concept in geography, in biology, in conservation biology, and it's really great, and they learn a lot by that, and they are become very engaged in the education materials. And for the idea here that usually when I teach biology or conservation biology, usually I start with the knowledge and then I try to make my student aware, and eventually I would like to take them active role in society. But what we do here in TiME is the opposite. We turn the pyramid upside down, and we first let them to act. We let them do the actual, they go and they participate, and by participating, eventually they acquire the knowledge that we eventually would like to hand them. And so it's really successful in all ages, and we started to bring it to schools, and you see here students are taking roles in studying the areas, and then they participate in group discussions, and they try to persuade each other where to cast their vote. And also after that, they might go out, like you see here on the right, and try to sell cookies or try to earn the money to become members. We ask them to earn their money themselves and not to bring it from their parents. So TiME education is about nature, but not only. It's about geography and natural sciences and social sciences, and decision making, and student and language, and of course values also. We talk about sometimes in classes about democracy, because it raises questions about democracy and how democracy works, about equity, and also of course about activism. We brought TiME, as I said, from elementary and already to university classes. Actually, we have it in kindergarten also, and it's great for really all ages. And you can see what students say about that. Their reflections is just wonderful. For example, this is high school students that said, I learned about myself that I can set up a goal and achieve it. And the fundraising made me realize that even a 16 years old can make a difference. Or after I voted on TiME website, I really felt like I changed something. So the students really become very involved, and they like it. And they not only become activists, but they also learn a lot along the process. We had already quite a few achievements. So on 2016, we purchased a land in the Upper Amazon. And 2017, we purchased another land in the Upper Amazon, which was even bigger. Then 2018 in an island in the Caribbean. And now we already got the money, and we are about to close the deal to purchase another plot in Colombia, in a forest, beautiful forest in Colombia. And so this is, for example, the first land that we purchased in Peru. Was mostly meant to save this amazing yellow-tailed woolly monkey that only 250 individuals were left of this monkey around the world. It's one of the most critically endangered species around the world. So we were happy that we helped, together with the TiME members, helped to save this species. And here, this is the area in the Caribbean, in Belize, that we managed to purchase a small parcel in an island there, but saves an amazing biodiversity, amazing animals and plants. It's just a wonderful area that we are very proud that we managed to save. And so TiME is about education, it's about conservation, it's about democracy. And I would like to leave more time for you to ask questions and to urge you to join us, to join TiME, whether you want to donate $1 or whether you want to donate more. I urge you to help us and make this change we actually bring a tool that can really do wonders around the world. So with that, I will end and we'll take questions.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Shanas. That was really inspirational and motivating. And thank you so much for the important work that you're doing. And I really like also the part where that you engage the youth in this initiative. It's really great. So for now, we come to the Q&A session. Like Katie mentioned earlier, if you want to ask Dr. Shanas directly, please please click on the heart reaction or just simply raise your hand. And if you're shy, you can also put your questions in the chat box. Okay. So while waiting for some people to ask, I can take this time to ask Dr. Shanas. So you've talked about you choose the biodiversity hotspots to save. If I may ask, what are the criteria for choosing these hotspots?
Yeah, so the hotspots we use previously work that has been done by scientists, and it's published in journals about the hotspots, and this is been updated every once in a while. It used to be they used to focus on 1.4%, and then they raise it to 2.3. So and we take these hotspots. So when we ask organizations to send us applications, we ask them to make sure that their land is within one of these hotspots that are published in scientific journals. And the idea of this hotspot is, as I said, it's places where you have a significant large amount of biodiversity, and it's threatened. It's these two components need to make a place a biodiversity hotspot.
Thank you, Dr. Shanas.
I saw Marisol, I think, raised her hand.
Oh, go on, Marisol.
Hi, yes. Well, first of all, Dr. Shanas, it was, as Pearl said, very, very inspiring. I saw this documentary on Netflix called Kiss the Ground, I think that's the name, on the value of preserving land, also to prevent desertification. So this initiative is very, very inspiring and full of hope. I was just wondering, what are the challenges that you face with this type of initiative, and if you have any, story of success on how to overcome it? Because when I think about purchasing a land, that sounds like a very bureaucratic and challenging process, right? So I would like to learn more about how are you managing? Thank you.
Yeah, so the biggest challenge for us is that people will know about it, that people will join. I think the biggest challenge maybe is that people will believe. It's like in democracy, if you have nobody going out and voting, then you have people that you don't want that will rule you, right? If you don't go and vote, then other people decide for you. So this is what we are trying. We say, okay, here we bring you the world. You can vote, you can add your money. It sounds like a very little, but it's like voting in a democracy. Every vote counts, and eventually you can make a change, as we saw now in the US. So, and here again, this is maybe the biggest challenge, is to make people believe that it's possible. And we already showed that it's possible. So now we need as many people as possible join us. My view or my goal is that we'll have millions of people joining TiME, and then we can do really a big change around the world. If millions of people each will donate just $1 or $5, it's unbelievable what we can do with that. And about purchasing, so one of our, as I told you, we have lots of volunteers, and one of the volunteers, we have a law firm in New York. Actually, this law firm, it's a big law firm that is located, of all places, in Times Square in New York, in one of the finest places around the world. And they give us pro bono services. They give us all the services, and they help us to write down the agreements, the legal agreements, and immediately after we reach the minimum amount to purchase a land, we put them in touch with the people on the ground, and they together, they write down the legal agreement that will make sure that the land is purchased and it's managed as we want to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think we have questions on the chat box as well. There's a question from Genesis Kelly Lontok. Is there a time structure in the Philippines? And if yes, is there any point person?
I was just talking to someone yesterday to my student, actually. I just spoke about it with my PhD student, and I told her I so much want to have a first landing in Asia. We still don't have anything in Asia, and we are looking, we're really trying to look for people that will help us to make TiME known in Asia, but also make us find us potential lands that we can help to save in Asia. So this is a challenge.
Thank you, Dr. Shanas. I saw there's one question from participant Alexandro, and he asked, do you have any suggestions to policymakers to be more engaged with biodiversity protection?
Wow, that's a tough one. How do you make people engaged? It's really hard. I think like the movie that, I don't know if you've seen it, the latest movie of David Attenborough. It's such a wonderful movie and explains it so well. And we just need people to go and put a pressure on policymakers more and more, but also I think by showing one of the ideas behind TiME is to show that we are willing to sacrifice something. And sometimes, you know, a sacrifice for a small kid, you know, giving $1 or giving his weekly allowance, we had that. To TiME shows their parents how much it is important for them, and so I really believe it can come from the kids, it can come from the young generation to put the pressure on the policymakers.
Thank you again
You're a dog.
for your insights.
Hindi ka nag-ano?
Okay.
As the questions coming in, I guess I also have a few more questions to ask, as I was jotting down a lot of notes during your presentation. And I guess one follow-up question from Alexandro is in terms of engagement for the educational opportunities, what are some ways for future environmental pioneers or interested students to get involved in your initiative? Like how do you suggest to join your efforts?
Yeah, I've been asking this. I've been asking these questions quite a lot, and I think for students, university students, and also high school students, I think the best way, for my experience, is to establish maybe a TiME chapter. Start with a chapter in your institute. And by forming a chapter in the institute, you are multiplying your efforts. So if you try to do yourself, it's one thing, but if you start to spread the word and you establish a chapter that runs all kinds of activities, then your efforts are multiplied. And so I think, and it's always also more fun, you know, to do things with others. It's, I know the time now it's hard because we are mostly, we don't see too many people, but even seeing people on Zoom or talking to people, it's something, and it's the best. I think it's the best way is to form chapters like that and act as a group. And then there's so many things that are possible to do.
That's very inspiring. Thank you.
I see Janet raised hand.
Yes, Janet Razo has raised her hand. Please go ahead.
Good evening from the Philippines.
Hi.
Okay. A growing concern in global health is decolonization. Much as planetary health is a marriage of global health or public health at that, and environmental science regionally, and environmental science is into this biodiversity conservation and other forms and means of conservation of natural resources. How can we upskill also decolonization in our conservation efforts?
I am not sure if I understood correctly. For one thing is that I didn't say that TiME, by the way, always work with the locals. The land that we purchase will not belong to TiME. It will always stay within the local people. And we work with the local to actually help them save the land themselves. So so wherever you are, I think it's important to do both. First, to save the lands around your place, in your country, to protect the land in your country, in your area, but also look around the world and see where protection is needed. And as I said, it's always nice to join forces with other, and we would love as many of you to join us, you know, and we can help you to make local changes and bigger changes together, because we have lots of people in our community already. TiME has already more than 5,000 people, members, and many of them are scientists, many of them are local leaders. And it's just a community, a growing community that when you join, we can help each other. I don't know if I answered the question. I'm not sure. I hope I did.
Thank you for answering that. It's a growing concern also in our conservation efforts, because just as we thought that we're doing it the right way, unaware, as a being an educator myself, I might be totally unaware that I just add to this colonization thing. So thank you.
Yeah. welcome.
Okay, you're not connecting both. We'll
Mhm.
often dismiss the session.
Dr. Shanas, thank you so much again for your explanation. And I guess on the other question on the note of in time of COVID, what are the opportunities you see for your really cutting edge learning, like learning model, like your designs of educational opportunities and participation? What are the opportunities to amplify the joining forces, and what are the ways of to evolve and grow this community? Do you have any insights?
Yeah, actually, it's a good question, because I was very concerned when I had to switch my teaching to distant teaching, distant learning, and actually it worked better than last year. It worked even better because the students were so happy. I teach with Zoom, and I had my students break out to the groups to Zoom, to the Zoom groups, and working together on this project, and they were so excited. My student, I had a very, very good feedback from my student, and it seemed to work even better than it worked last year in class. For some reason, it worked just fantastic, and they were very, very happy to do that.
That sounds really promising and inspiring.
Are there
Somebody is on the waiting, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Are there other questions for Dr. Shanas?
I would like just to share one more slide, maybe, for a second. I'll share the last slide. This is how our website looks today, the front page of our website. So we are trying to reach at the until the end of the year, and to purchase one of these two sites. One is in Nature Kenya, one is in Kenya, and one is in Brazil. And we already have one site on the pipeline in Kenya, in the Masai Mara in Kenya. But we need to purchase first one of these sites on the left until we go to the 2021 campaign and see more sites that people will be able to vote and raise money for. And I just one more note here, that we went down to two sites on 2020 just because we lost one site, and it was very unfortunate. At the beginning of 2020, we had 3 sites, and one was we were not there on time, and we lost it. We lost it because somebody else, some developer, just bought the land. It was also in Kenya. It's a very nice land in Kenya, and developer actually were there before us. And so for me, it's also kind of a race, you know, to raise enough money and to get the votes there, and to go and grab a hold of all these precious lands before other people go and develop something, or cut the woods there, or do something else. So this is just an explanation of what you would see now on our website.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, Dr. Shanas. I also have a question, actually, since I saw, I can imagine in some of these sites, there are indigenous communities. Were there any times you had to talk to them or work with them, and did you face any challenges during this?
Well, until now, no. Until we worked with the local people, and we didn't have yet really like real indigenous people. we had local people. I'm not sure if you would call them, you know, by definition indigenous, but they are local, and they were very happy to help us. I'll just give you an example. The first land in Peru that we purchased in Peru in the upper Amazon, we actually gave the land to two farmers, two local farmers, Isidoro and Donatilla. I know them because I met them. And Isidoro and Donatilla received this land. We gave them a small parcel on this land to do their agriculture and to do whatever they need for a living. And they received from TiME a source of lifelong source of living. And in return, they are protecting the whole land for us or for the world. So it's like it's a win-win situation that we try to also to bring to this world.
That is so encouraging.
I agree. Are there any more questions?
I also think probably I should raise my hand here, but I'm just curious about in terms of the standards of the land purchasing application, what are the processes to figure out, like, do you see any, like, how it has been evolved and how to, like, the process of setting the standards for the land purchase and what are, like, the data in terms of the data sourcing, the data tracking to have, like, any insights?
You mean what kind of information they need to supply for us to choose them, or what kind of information they need to supply to the scientific committee? Is that what you mean? And because so first, most of the all the information is transparent, and when you click on our front page on the website, on the sites, a new page will open and you will see almost all the details. And what we're looking for a couple of things. We're looking for, first, that the people on the ground will be reliable. We ask them often to bring references. We would like to see often that they have experience in purchasing land and protecting it for the long run. And they have a good management plan also, and how to support it. So sometimes they ask us for money, and that's okay to add it to the sum, that it's not only they need the money to purchase the land, but they need some money to maybe pay wardens and to maybe put some posting guards or something like that. That's okay. Or we also encourage them often to add an education program with the locals, that we see it as part of protecting the land. So everything can be on this on the amount that they ask us to give them to purchase the land. But yes, we certainly ask to see how it will be protected years ahead. And this is very important for us.
Mm-hmm. That's really important to know. And I'm hearing that part of the empowerment, it's really critical to grow and to plant the seeds for future planetary health for professional leaders in that sense.
Yeah, I agree. Right. Certainly. Okay.
Yes, I think there are no more questions. Dr.
Okay.
Shanas, do you have any last words you want to impart?
No, okay. Just, you know, join us, help us. Let's do it together.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Shanas. And I hand over to Rose for our closing.
Great.
Thank you again so much for taking the time and for being here with us to share your insights and perspectives. They are so helpful and so inspiring for us to learn and to take action. This is really the time for us to be together and to figure out the solutions. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yes, for those who are interested in joining us at Planetary Health at PlaHNet of young professionals, please feel free to follow us on, we have multiple media outlets on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, Twitter, and please feel free to join us and to follow us our future events and information. We're so happy for having you being here with us as well. And thank you for everyone. And thank you, Dr. Shanas, again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Keep safe.
Stay safe, everyone.